I'm Randall Willard. I'm an emergency medicine physician. So am I looking at you, or you here in Wilmington, North Carolina? So over 10 years ago, when we started Axon, I had come up with an idea, or just working to try and be more efficient. And at the time, basically the premise came from trying to get information from the field to help expedite workups in the emergency department. Basically, if somebody was in the field and they were having an acute heart attack, we couldn't see the EKGs that the EMS folks were doing. They would call and say, I think, and we're like, is there a way to just, and then it was kind of the advent of cell phones. But that was not allowed due to HIPAA and transmitting data that was unprotected. So we're like, well, there's got to be a better way.
With no immediate solution in clear sight, Dr. Willard set out to create an app that provided secure transmission of patient data between first responders and the ER.
We had these rough drafts, I guess if you want to call them, these apps, and we were trying to get funding to kind of make it go. And then we had presented a couple times, and then we kind of evolved into HIPAA-compliant communication between nurses and doctors, or doctors and doctors, and we came up with one and actually tried to get, we didn't have the funding to get a full app done, but we had a working model.
With proof of concept in hand, Dr. Willard began the process of funding his project via traditional institutional methods.
Traditional research comes through an institution. The researchers work for the institution. The institution has levels of how much money those researchers have to bring in, so they apply for a grant, the grant gets approved, the institution takes a portion of that, the rest of it's left, and they're following certain regulations. It's just the way that it's been, but is there a better, more efficient way?
Dr. Willard quickly realized that these generational roadblocks would become a hindrance to his work and his goal of providing the best care for patients.
Everybody's got, we're talking different layers of administration, bureaucrat. Everybody has their own end game. Well, that's a problem. And then so when you get a bunch of people that aren't working towards the same goal, everybody's out for themselves. So whether it's a pharmaceutical company, whether it's the investors in the pharmaceutical company, whether it's the access to getting this funding because somebody has, this, like their baby is this, and they're like, no, we're not even touching stuff like that. We're going to go here. But if you think about it, they've been doing this for thousands of years.
Sensing there was a need to change the research funding ecosphere, Dr. Willard pivoted from a single app solution for secure data transfer to creating a new platform that would democratize how research and science should be funded.
How can we make research access resources more affordable, more accessible to not only the researchers, the providers, the patients? It's a more efficient avenue. If you want to complicate something, it doesn't matter the industry, whether it's medicine, agriculture, business, government, put more layers, more bureaucracy, more administration that slows and makes things more inefficient. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of research, and you do need something when you're talking about medications and things that could potentially have harmful side effects. You do need some overlap or oversight, but there's a lot of things that you don't. There's just common sense. There's a lot of good projects we've been involved with mental health and access, and just getting people plugged in and access to care. And decentralized science, I think, is a way you can bypass a lot of that. Because there's a lot of great ideas out there, and people, like we did initially when we started Axon, it's a great idea, just didn't have the funds or the access or really the knowledge of how to go about doing it.
AxonDAO emerged from the decentralized science movement as a community-driven initiative to improve the way scientific research is coordinated, funded, and shared globally.
There's so many different options. And like I said, how can we be more efficient and quicker? This is a great way. If you came up and you're like, hey, I got this great idea to, came up with this, whatever. I don't know, maybe it's an app, maybe it's something. Like I don't know who to talk to. I don't know, it's not gonna cost much. I got a buddy who can program it and he just needs, a couple $1,000 or whatever. Why not DeSci fund it? Whether it's a medication or you're a researcher and you just like, I've applied to grants and grants and grants. My institution's completely against anything that considers illicit like psilocybin and stuff like that. Hey, here we go. Here's an avenue.
Today, AxonDAO is actively funding 3 groundbreaking projects. Cura OS, an open-source medical innovation platform. A+ Voice, a human-AI interface for accessible communication. And Psilosis, a research initiative exploring the therapeutic potential of psychedelics. Each project reflects AxonDAO's mission to drive forward collaborative, decentralized solutions in health and human advancement.
There's lots of things, agriculture. How can we maximize how much productivity we're getting out of an acre of land? Water access, or just, how do we desalination projects, or just things that you can do. There's a lot of good that can be done, that you can cut out a lot of the bureaucratic administrative stuff and just let people work and get ideas done. And like I said, especially those people that have these brilliant ideas, there are a lot of brilliant people out there that they just need a little help. And that's something that we can do. It's great. We all win.